Take two. We'll wait for
Take 5.
Yeah, take 45.
Take 65.
All right, so we're just gonna jump. So
Later.
with that, sir, we'll do Slammies after SmackDown, so that way we're not redoing everything. So
After the B show?
yes, after the beach, yes.
Beep. I thought you said after the beep. That's fine.
Oh.
No. B show.
After the B show. Hey,
SmackDown's boo-boo.
hey, Flame. How is the audio, Flame? Is everything good to go?
Oh, I just heard your voice loud and clear as soon as I clicked on the thing. So yeah, you're good.
What about the rest of us?
You guys are good. It's just my mic was cut. Okay, so someone in my chat is asking whom is in with me. So, all right, Flame, thank you for saying that the chat is clear. Okay, so for everyone who has been following us, me and JamSaw, who is in the chat right now, before I tell the people to start talking, just real quick, we've wrapped up Season 1 of our GM mode, and, we lost a good soldier in Retro. His situation still is not fixed, so he's working on that, and we do miss you, sir, and we hope to get you back soon. But in his replace, I picked up a great guy who brought in amazing commentary and knowledge, and in that made me think to do a third show, and I again found somebody who knows an amazing amount of history with his WWE and his indies and all that. So with that being said, bringing back my original broadcast partner, JamSaw for AEW. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great. Don't forget, originally when we started, it was WCW and ECW.
Yes, sir.
There was a big evolution that happened over this past year, but it's fantastic to be here with you and with the evolution, the other guys, the other shows that we're able to put together.
Yep.
It's incredible to think that we were just two people who chatted on a YouTube video at some point that said, hey, what if we try this? We did it, and I have to say, you're a much harder worker than me. Putting together 3-4 different shows.
Yeah.
And streaming other games, but for me it's been pretty fun because I've always wanted to do this, to book my own shows, and this is a way to do it. And it was kind of fantasy booking at the beginning with old shows with new stars.
Yep.
Kind of a mixture of what ifs. So I thought it was a very interesting way to move forward, and I'm very happy that we were able to complete that first year, and looking forward to the second year, and hopefully WWE 2K22 will fix a lot of the shit that went wrong this year.
Yeah, and guys, with that being said, we're going to move on to my middle show, which is Velocity, which obviously right on my screen you don't see that Velocity is my middle show, but being released in the middle of the week is Velocity, so I count that as my second show, not in any way lesser, but it's just the second release. And with that, I bring back a guy who I believe on shortened notice, because it didn't take long for me to think of the idea and go searching for somebody, and you were the first that jumped on the idea. You showed that you knew. You were my third JamSaw because I found you third. You knew what you were talking about. You come in with a great mind, and you took a blank canvas and you came up with great ideas for season 2. I can't wait for it to happen. But with that being said, my returning Velocity brother is King Dillan. Sir, how are you today?
The King of professional wrestling is here. Jerry Lawler, fight me if you dare.
Yeah, so what did you think of our short run in season 1, and what do you think the future is for season 2?
Well, season 1, minus Daniel Pewter, was a complete success. Would have been more successful without Pewter, but, whatever.
Yep.
Season 2, it's going to be a million times better. I'm telling you this right now, everybody. Everybody right now sees Velocity as the middle show.
Yep.
This season's about to prove why we are the number one show on this channel.
Ooh, give him Smackdown a run for its money.
You haven't been here long enough to be the number one show. That was already proven this year with a triple brand
that was
match where Chris Jericho trounced everybody and is the tri-brand champion. I look forward to the end of year 2 when we have a quad brand championship match to see who will take the title at that point. But until then, don't get too big for your britches.
Well, I'm just saying, I made a couple calls to the indies and brought a couple big names in here. You might not recognize them because WWE doesn't put their brass ring spotlight on them and everything, but I'm telling you this now, the people I called in personally are about to bring the ratings all the way up.
Yep. But before we get into that, I have to bring in my third and final broadcast partner who, like I said, took place on short notice and turned it completely to a place I could not imagine it going with the pace that it was. Josh, brother, you stepped up right to the plate. You took my idea and you said, I like it, but let's make it better. And from what you did with it, sir, people watched Pitts Pro more than they did my other shows. So, I mean, you're very charismatic. Your knowledge is, again, like the other two, is very, very huge. You know what you're talking about. And I'm glad you decided to come back for season 2. And I'm going to ask you the same thing. What did you think of season 1, and what is your hopes for season 2 for Pitts Pro?
Well, all I can first say is that King title is going to get defended in a ladder match.
Oh, shit.
Make that a death match and you got a deal, buddy.
Light bulbs, barbed wire, going down. Second off, with Dillan talking about bringing in people.
Yeah.
Well, I'm bringing in people of my own. And those people are going to have a field day with the rest of the competition.
Right.
And let's just say that there might be a secret to follow with the show. I'm not going to release any other information, but there is a secret that will be revealed. And when it is revealed, it's going to take the ratings from the other shows and make Pitts the top show.
I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter what kind of secret Santa BS you guys try to pump out on these alternate shows. Monday Night Dynamite will be, always has been, the premier show in our universe. Keep that in mind. Whatever you throw at me, I'll find a way to finagle my way through something. I got Chris Jericho. The mind of that man is incredible.
But all right. So before we get too heated, before things get too escalated, let's start the stream with the Monday night show with you, JamSaw. What do you got for your roster?
Well, I think, like we discussed this before the show, Brock, we're going to do the Slammies first.
Right.
Or rather, the Red Saw Awards, which is our version of the Slammies. Starting things off with our number 1 is Submission of the Year.
Yes.
So I think we both kind of agreed on this one. It was one of those rare occasions where we actually agreed that Daniel Bryan versus Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle's
Invitational
Open Challenge.
Yep.
And Daniel Bryan was able to make Kurt tap in 45 seconds. I think that's the fastest submission we saw all year long across both brands.
Yeah, because it was a 5-minute match. And yeah. Because if you guys remember back in the Eugene days, Kurt Angle would put his gold medal, yes, right on the line if you could make him tap within 5 minutes. And I think it went on for almost a year until Eugene, who I thought was very underrated, took it and won. And that was back when Christy Hemme was a ring announcer too. So, but yeah, so I believe we both agreed that was Submission of the Year.
no doubts on that one. Bringing us to number 2, which is match of the year. And I think we also both kind of agreed on that one. The Daniel Bryan versus Brody Lee, formerly Luke Harper, from the WWE, in that Iron Man match, 13-0 for Daniel Bryan was incredible. Never seen an Iron Man match get that thoroughly lost, but Harper / Brody Lee, he really sold the hell out of it. I mean, not anybody could lose that badly and still hold face and still actually have value, and brought 110% to the rest of the matches that he was in for the rest of his career.
Yeah, and like we've stated before, speaking of the late great Lee, whenever we do a Royal Rumble, it's not going to be a Royal Rumble. It'll be a Brody Lee Battle Royale in honor of the passing of him. So, so congrats to Brian for taking that. What's number 3? What's our number 3?
Number 3, we have the return of the year. So for me, for WCW / AEW, because of the transition we had throughout the year, I had to put up Sting. Because Sting came back, went after that main title, won it, retained it for 3 consecutive months, I believe. And then when he finally did lose, was recruited by Diamond Dallas Page. DDP himself came back and challenged for the tag belts. So it was a way that he could bring Sting back into the brand, even though he was supposed to be forced to retire after losing that title. So that longevity of his return, which in fact was kind of 2 returns, is the reason why I think Sting was probably the return of the year.
Yeah, and then I'm throwing in JBL, the wrestling god himself. With his return, he immediately made an impact with putting a bounty on John Cena's head before he even came back. And Cena was injured at that point, and John Bradshaw came back. He won the world title. He held it for a few pay-per-views, defended it against Bobby Lashley, and he ended up losing it to said John Cena, who had to turn heel to take it from him. So we'll let Josh pick this winner, Sting or John Bradshaw Layfield for this one.
Sting.
See,
there you go, man.
See,
Scorpion Deathlock.
All right, perfect. So, congrats to you for that one. What are we looking at for number 4?
Number 4, we have Men's Tag Team of the Year. I put up the Disciples of Darkness. If you recall, when we first started in WCW, for about the first 4 months, a tag team dominated pretty much the main storyline of the show. We had Bray Wyatt, the Fiend Bray Wyatt, tagged up with Aleister Black. Aleister Black being that kind of mystical, dark magic type of being that was able to control the Fiend. Get that tag team really rolling with momentum. They won the belts first off, retained the belts for about 4 months, and then even post losing the belts, each split off into 2 separate factions, competing against one another. Again, just keeping to the top of the storyline. So even apart as a team, because of that rivalry from that team split, I think makes them the men's team of the year.
I mean, on a side note too, that also attracted Cain too. Cain wanted to join and break the Disciples of Darkness.
That's true. That was like a cross-brand story. Cain was an ECW superstar at the time.
Yep. And then my throw-in, it might be a ridiculous one, but the Usos. The Usos were a team. They joined very, very late. They were on Pitts Pro. No, they were on Blood Brawl. Sorry, they were on Blood Brawl first, and then we transitioned into Pitts Pro. But the fact that they showed up, they dethroned a unstoppable team and kept the titles and ran through the entire tag division. So Josh, I don't want you to be biased about this because you were there for the Usos. And the fact that they went to the main brand, SmackDown, and won the tag titles when they moved up there, and they haven't lost them since. So, Dillan, the Disciples, or...
I don't want the biased opinion. Let's go with
Well, no, because we're going to switch it. switch it back and forth. So Dillan, the Usos or the Disciples of Darkness?
See, as much as I love the Usos,
oh my God,
family,
yeah,
I have to go with the Disciples.
Josh, who did you pick? No, Dillan's out. Dillan is out. Dylan is out. Dylan is out. Dylan is out. Josh, what? All right, whatever. Dylan picked the Disciples. It is the Disciples. So that's 2 for JamSaw, 0 for Brock. So
don't get me wrong. I got love and respect for the Usos and their family, but it's like Disciples, man. Aleister Black, Cain.
Yep.
Like, come on. You can't do any better than that.
So
I'm telling you, man. Premier show on Monday nights. That's why I got Monday nights, man.
All right, sir. So what is our next phase?
Well, I mean, this is where I think you might end up winning, but Women's Team of the Year.
Yes, sir.
Kabuki Warriors, because for the AEW/WCW side of things, Kabuki Warriors were one of our most formidable women's tag teams, and they kept finding themselves in the title picture. Unfortunately, they only held it for a short period of time, but that struggle, that underdog scenario where they actually started from the ground and built themselves up, and then again there was a split where Kairi Sane won the women's world title, and Asuka won the women's mid-card championship. So even apart, those two tag team members were champions in their own right, which again makes me really push towards them as the women's tag team of the year. But I kind of know your choice, and they are fucking dominant, man.
Yes, sir.
It's hard for me not to vote for your team, even though I really wish Kabuki would win.
We shall talk about the season 1 great women's tag team ever, and that was Bay Lacey, who was thrown together willy-nilly, didn't know what to do with them, but I said, you know what, screw it, let's see what goes on. And they held those titles for 3-4
6 months.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was 6 months, man.
Yeah.
That they held the fucking title. We kept throwing people at them, and we couldn't ever take the title. And it was finally Kabuki, I think, that did beat them.
Yep.
Sounds like the woman's version of Sheamus' Cesaro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Josh, we'll throw it to you for this one. We're gonna switch it back and forth. Josh, Bay Lacey or the Kabuki Warriors?
Fuck. I know, it's a tough choice.
Oh my God. Honestly, I'm gonna have to go with Bay Lacey.
Woo!
Yeah, I knew it would have to go that way. I preferred my team, honestly, but you're not wrong.
I love the Warriors. I fucking love them, but that tag team thrown together, all of a sudden the chemistry was like instant. And it was just dumb, stupid good. 6-month title reign. Like, what the fuck?
Yes, sir.
Like, the hands down, they won that.
All right, what is next on the agenda, sir?
Well, next we have the OMG Moment of the year, and I think we might both agree on this one too, just when we revealed the GMs for each show.
Yes.
As being The Rock, the GM of WCW, and Eric Bischoff, surprisingly, being the general manager of ECW. So unless you have a different moment, that's what I'm putting.
You guys had to bring back that old pile of bones, huh?
Well, kind of. The Rock never owned a show before, but now that he's a billionaire friggin'
I'm talking
movie
about
star.
Eric Bischoff. Come on now.
Yeah, but on ECW though, not on WCW.
Yeah.
Still, it's Eric Bischoff. Come on now, that dude. I'm sorry, but
not Vince Russo.
It's the closest thing to Vince Russo without being Vince Russo.
That's Jim Cornette.
Oh no! Let's not talk about Cornette.
I'm sorry. As much as an issue as I have with some of what Cornette actually says about wrestlers, I do agree with a lot of what he says because of our knowledge of wrestling sort of being similar. Obviously, he has more because he's freaking older than dog shit. Come on now.
Yeah. What Jim Cornette is he's your racist uncle that shows up at Thanksgiving that gives you some wisdom, but you're like, he's my fucking racist uncle. Maybe I shouldn't listen to him.
Exactly.
But then you realize, yeah, but Jim Cornette does know what he's talking about on certain things.
I'm not saying everything he says is wrong.
When it comes to modern wrestling, he has no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Exactly, man. You need to appreciate and understand that modern style, the Japanese style, strong style. You know, I love New Japan wrestling as well. And I think that they're underutilized talents when they come to a promotion like WWE. I mean, look at Hitami. You know, he did great shit in New Japan, did fuck all in NXT, got underutilized, and then went back to New Japan, and boom, it was great again. You know?
In all fairness, in WWE, he was constantly getting hurt.
That is sexy, sir. That is sexy. That is a sexy belt.
I hate the New Japan belt.
Are you looking at the New Japan belt, the Divas champion, you mean?
No. Look at your screen. Look at your screen. Oh, there we go.
Hey, the new one?
Big Goldie.
Dude, the new IWGP heavyweight belt is ugly as fuck. It looks like a butterfly.
Really is. Oh my god.
And I mean, why would you combine the Intercontinental Championship with it? I mean, get rid of some of the other shit, like the never open dickweed weight fucking title.
Hey.
And I'm just saying, for years, and I'm talking like years, that IWGP heavyweight title was the most gorgeous thing in professional wrestling.
It was Big Goldie, man.
And
everybody wanted it.
And
now I have the most gorgeous.
They decided to change it to this ugly butterfly-looking thing, and it's like, dude, why are you pulling a Vince McMahon?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good on Will Ospreay, but it's still ugly as shit.
It's not gonna look good on Okada.
Hell no.
Okada is tougher than hell, and it's gonna make him look like a bitch.
I mean, I love Ospreay and all, but his style needs to change because he changed to heavyweight. Like, he's still flying around too much.
I mean, a lot of heavyweights nowadays are lean enough to actually do that while technically
look at Pac.
At that.
Look at Pac.
Exactly.
He's beef. He's fucking stacked, but he does the high fly maneuvers real easy.
He's not
anyway.
Look at.
Well, I think he is, man. He has the heavyweight look. If he's not full heavyweight, he has a heavyweight look.
Look at Roman Reigns.
He's not fucking 205 anymore for sure.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's probably
Look at Roman Reigns though. 270 pounds. That man can still Superman fly over the top rope.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my god.
All right. All right. Yeah.
I think Brock's like, I gotta get control back.
Look, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Heaviest person I've seen go over the top rope in a while. So.
Next.
Unless Big Show decides to start jumping over the top rope.
Right.
Roman is the heaviest high flyer I've seen in modern wrestling so far.
Yeah. Okay. We got it, boys. JamSaw, what is the next one?
The next category is best storyline of the year. So I think it was The Rock versus Jericho for control of Monday nights. If you recall, at the beginning of a certain month, we knew The Rock was the general manager, and he just didn't show up for work. So Chris Jericho started calling the shots. And he was like, hey, The Rock's not here. I'll take over and start booking the matches and everything like that. And we found out progressively throughout the month that Santana and Ortiz had captured The Rock and kept him in a basement on the east side for the whole month. And finally, The Rock was able to break free and confront Jericho on week 4, right before the pay-per-view. And he said, you know what, you want this show? I'll fight you for it. And they had a match at the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately for The Rock, he lost. So Chris Jericho took over, and that's when we converted to AEW.
Yep.
He made that decision to kill off WCW and convert everything to AEW to make sure that it was the Monday night premier brand.
What a shocker. A WWE wrestler kills WCW once again.
So...
technically an AEW wrestler at the time killed WCW.
So before I continue, who is the next pick? Is it Dillan or Josh?
I believe it's Dillan.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So for my...
You're gonna pick depending on what you think.
No, because I'm... No. Listen, this is not Kazarni. Sir. This is not Kazarni.
We know how you are with
Oh my God. So my throw in, I was gonna do the battle, the better than Utopians, just because like I said, I'm big on nostalgia, but I'm gonna have to say when Vince invaded ECW and won it from us and turned it into BCW, which he declared barely championship wrestling. And JamSaw, we had that little stint in that shitty gym, and
with like 3 people in attendance.
Listen. It was 4
really
if.
A choice in this?
Oh my! Who the fuck are you picking?
Gee, I don't know.
Who the fuck?
The shitty Vince McMahon storyline, or the...
Oh my God!
I don't think we need to waste any more time on this one, Brock. Next category.
Son of a bitch.
Next category
yes.
is the surprise of the year. So beyond oh my God moments, there are surprises or shocks that can sometimes come out in storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And my surprise...
Give me the freaking... because everybody was shocked to hear my knowledge, so come on now.
Hey, man, that might be the case, but you weren't a part of these shows for this Slammy. Maybe next year you'll get one of the Red Star Awards, but this time it's really all about a surprise of the year. And I think the biggest surprise of the year, at least especially towards Brock, was when we're doing our brand versus brand matchup. We're heading up for the pay-per-view. Chris Jericho was against Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins, and they were going to see who was the best champion. And the first match we actually had was a beat the clock challenge.
Yep.
And Brock never specified
who
we had to challenge.
No.
So he had his guys challenge some pretty strong opponents. Chris Jericho hired Gilbert for one night.
God damn it.
Gilbert, not Goldberg.
Gilbert.
Decimated him in like under a minute.
Yep. My surprise.
And that's supposed to be a shock.
What's a surprise? It was a surprise. No one expected Chris Jericho to pull freaking Gilbert out.
Jericho.
I'm gonna...
Hey man,
he worked on the road all
even
the
expect
time.
it.
I did.
It's Jericho.
Listen. What about my choice? I didn't choose my choice yet. No, you probably want it. Never mind. Okay.
Anyways, Josh's pick, so you never know.
Might throw
out
true.
Someone that he likes better, but
true.
I think Jericho mind fucking you by bringing in Gilbert was great, and it surprised you. You didn't expect it.
Yes.
And the reaction we got from you, that was priceless.
I'm gonna say the biggest surprise, in my opinion, on my show was when we were in the middle of the whole Invasion series, and all of Vince's superstars jumped Tommy Dreamer in separate locations and just took him out of business, which led to it was Eric Bischoff got jumped, and he called in Stone Cold to be the new GM. So Stone Cold's surprise return would be my choice.
Oh my God, there's so many things.
Well, the answer's clear, man.
Yeah, the answer clear is Stone Cold Steve Austin. No, it's clearly
kind of let go before the end of the month, more or less, or Chris Jericho pulling the wool over Brock's eyes and stealing that opportunity, getting that first point in that beat the clock challenge, which pretty much solidified his win of that tri-brand championship.
Basically.
I'd have to say Stone Cold.
Woo!
That's bullshit, man.
Woo! The fans have spoken.
Stone Cold randomly appearing. I mean, yeah, Jericho and Gilbert, but that's
all he did was cross promote his fucking Broken Skull beer. Jericho was competing.
Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with some good old beer.
Ooh!
I don't have anything wrong with beer.
Give me a hell yeah. Give me a hell yeah.
He used to.
I'm saying, man, the canvas drank more than Stone Cold.
All right, JamSaw, what is next?
The beer truck.
Beer truck.
All right, what do we got next, JamSaw?
The Rock flooded with beer.
All right, I guess that brings us to the next one. There's only 2 left, guys, and then we'll do our roster stuff. Sir. So, female superstar of the year, I, of course, picked Rhea Ripley, because she was pretty much our champion for about, 8? No, I think at least 9, if not 10 months. Mm-hmm. I think other than Rhea, there was Shayna may have stole the championship for a minute, and then Asuka took it from her, and Rhea never got it back.
All right, so I'm glad that Dillan is choosing this because the choice for me is right in. No, I did not. I actually am picking one of Josh's roster, and that is Alicia Fox.
Dylan's turn, by the way.
Right. No. I said it's a part of Josh's roster. It's a part of Josh, and that is Alicia Fox.
Well, then it's not up to Josh.
I know this. I'm saying it's a part of that. That's why I'm glad it's Dillan, because it's a part of Josh's roster, and that's Alicia Fox.
Okay, that's not what you said. You said
oh, my Lord. Just give me a hell yeah and pick Alicia Fox.
Alicia Fox versus Rhea Ripley. Come on,
Dillan.
It's not that hard.
Look at the statistics. Alicia Fox.
I'm in with this one.
Alicia Fox ran circles around the entire women's roster on Pitts Pro and left a champion.
Yeah, on like a secondary show.
It doesn't matter. She ran the roster. She ran the roster.
Tuesday nights. She was on Tuesday nights. Brock let her go to another brand where she dominated, right? Rhea Ripley, day 1, women's champion. 10 months straight, women's champion. Lost twice in 12 months.
All right, Dillan. Who are you picking?
I think he went out to get
They gotta go with Rhea.
Oh, okay. Okay, next up, JamSaw.
It's the final one, Superstar of the Year, and I think it's pretty clear. Chris Jericho.
Oh.
You know, he stole the show from The Rock, ran it rampant, ran over you guys with the Tri-Brand Championship, and even in the last pay-per-view that we did, he retained his championship. He put his guys against the Pinnacle guys, and if I'm not mistaken, the Tag Team Championships changed hand, or was it the mid-card? I can't recall. Anyway.
On the pay-per-view?
Has more gold than anyone else.
On the pay-per-view?
Yeah.
So the pay-per-view...
Sammy won, right? Sammy won the mid-card.
Yep, Sammy won the mid-card.
Yeah, so Sammy won the mid-card. So Chris Jericho won his match. So the two of them together, Les Sex Gods, will be taking on the Tag Team Champions, who I think it was FTR still retained, right?
Yes, they beat LAX, yes.
Okay, so on the premier AEW show, so next week or so, when we come back to doing our regular shows, the main event's going to be Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara versus FTR for those tag champs. And if they win it, then Inner Circle holds all the gold.
Awesome. So that wraps up year 1 Slammies for us.
You didn't say who your championship
I picked it. I picked up. It's your pick.
You picked Chris Jericho
too. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I gotta agree with it. But no, so that wraps that up. To think that a year has, so we'll start in like 2 minutes. So we'll start at 36 minutes. So, JamSaw, I want to focus on you for this. Year 1, did you, from where we started to where it came to a close, is it what you expected? What was your favorite show we did together? And What are you gonna miss the most about year one?
Well, I think what I miss about year one is just that discovery phase of when it's new. You know, as we progress, we kind of got into a pattern, and when you get into that kind of pattern, it becomes more of a job and less of a fun, creative thing.
Right.
And that's what I want to try to get back into this year, is trying to refocus creatively. And I think we will, because we've kind of got more of our brand split ideas now.
Yep.
And we've decided on those 4 crossover pay-per-views that are going to be real WWE pay-per-views.
Yep.
So Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam. And the rest of it is going to be our own unique pay-per-views.
Yep.
And I'm running with the AEW stuff. So I think moving forward, things are going to be great. But I think what I miss is just that initial energy of trying to figure it out and decide how we're going to do stuff. It was cool to get down to that, like, kind of pattern where you know what you're doing, but at the same time, it kind of takes some of the magic out of it. It almost becomes like a job.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I do this for fun. Like, I have a fucking job.
Right.
I don't need a second job that doesn't pay.
Yeah. All right. So finish it up with your favorite show that we did. Your favorite pay-per-view.
I really like the last one, man. Like Ragnarok, even though it got postponed a week because of the passing of one of my buddies.
Yep.
That one was really good. If I have to pick the one that probably did the best, if I look at view count and everything, the gold standard.
And whose was that? Exactly.
So,
woo!
I will give you kudos on that. Your pay-per-view was the best one. And it was a brand versus brand. And I think we did pretty even in the stature of that match.
Yes.
But it was an ECW pay-per-view idea.
Yep.
So I do give you kudos for that.
Thank you. Okay, so moving on, sir. Tell us about your future idea for AEW, which you said you're sticking strictly with those superstars, without doing a lot about the roster. What can you tell us about what you got going on?
Well, I mean, I kind of want to, rather than trying to build my own roster and book from there, I want to take almost do like a GM mode of a real promotion. So I want to pretty much run AEW. And instead of Wednesday nights, it's going to still stay Mondays. You know, I think that was the winning solution for me as well, being on Monday nights. That's the premier night for wrestling. So that's all I'm going to do. If you go to the AEW roster site and see the superstars there, I'm going to be using those talents. Maybe not all of them, but a good chunk of them. And I do want to alternate and rotate people in, so it's not always the same superstars. I'm not WWE. You're not going to see the same match like 6 weeks in a row. It's just not going to happen. I want to mix stuff up.
I'm just going to see the same moves every week.
Well, with some superstars, yeah. But I think the main thing for me, too, is that I want to – the 2 main things that I learned from this past season, at least with 2K20, there's not going to be any steel cage matches because those are garbage.
Yep.
They run shitty.
Yep.
And I'm not going to have any countouts on tag team matches, because that's always a piss off. It seems like every time you put a like just a straight up tag team, not a tornado or a TLC, but just a regular tag team match, 9 times out of 10 will be a fucking countout, and that pisses me off. So countouts are not applicable for any kind of tag matches or serious one-on-one matches.
Right.
See, that's why over in Global Wrestling Federation, instead of a 10 count, it's a 20 count, and there is no disqualifications in any matches.
Well, I mean, that's one way to go about it. Like, that's one way to go about it for sure. But creatively speaking, I love the idea of letting some stuff, like sometimes you want to have a disqualification possibility, especially for a heel coming in there for that story, right? So if I have a specific story idea, I want to have that flexibility. But countouts specifically, even a 20 count, I've seen times where if I had a 20 count, they would still be out there fighting. 2 guys out there fighting, neither one of them trying to run back into the ring to save that fucking match.
Yep.
And that is just mental. That is shit AI.
Yep.
You know, there's no way it should be like that. I didn't see that in previous games. This is the one that really screwed the pooch.
Oh, definitely.
All right, so we'll wrap up we'll wrap up your section of AEW. Any final words for what you want the people to know about what you got going on?
Well, just look forward to more of what I've been bringing to the table, like creative storyline ideas. I don't want it to always be the same thing. I have attention deficit, so you're going to see that in my work, and I hope you enjoy it.
Awesome.
I look forward to having Brock still on my side on commentary.
Yes.
That helps keep me going and motivated as well.
All right, so let's move to the Tuesday night show, SmackDown. So if you look at the screen, we're now going to get into my 3 shows. So you might be a few seconds behind me, guys, in the chat. So I'm just going to go through the roster real quick. If you remember, for SmackDown, we're going to throwback attires and a lot of throwback titles as well. John Cena, in respect to what JamSaw did for Ragnarok, Cena is going to be doing his spinner belt, but it's the signature series with the orange strap. So John Cena, as of Ragnarok, is your WWE World Champion. Let's go to the rankings. So, there we go. So Seth Rollins rocking his Tyler Black attire, which I'm very excited to see that in action. Jimmy and Jay are still a part of it. Mr. Kennedy still in there as well. Lacey Evans was a very formidable opponent. Unfortunately, she lost to Becky at Ragnarok, which sucks. But so then I'm trying to figure out how.
In your universe, Lacey is not pregnant by Ric Flair.
No. So here we go. Yeah, so let's go back to it.
Let's not bring that one up.
Becky Lynch is going to be rocking her early days gear, the NXT gear that she was rocking for a little bit. John Cena is, of course, rocking the sweatpants that he used to wear when he first fought Daniel Bryan back in the day on Velocity, if you guys remember that.
The American Dragon.
Yes, Braun Strowman has still been a part of the roster. AJ Styles was released by AEW at the very end, which we appreciate, what you did for him. But his release and his adaptation to SmackDown is phenomenal. Mickie James, if you remember correctly, the first day of SmackDown, she's getting a world title match against Becky, so keep an eye out for that. The Cruiserweight division that was a part of Velocity is coming back over. And instead of being the Hurricane, we are seeing Gregory Helms. So keep an eye out for that. Roman Reigns rocking his FCW gear. I'm just going to run through it. John Morrison is still a part of it. Kofi, still a part of it. Ronda Rousey, yes. Daniel is still a part of it as well. Kurt Angle is rocking his black gear, if you guys remember that attire, his black stars and stripes. Randy Orton is rocking his OVW gear. MVP.
So Kurt is doing the U.S. agent thing?
Yes.
Alright, I dig.
Batista. EC3. And due to respect for JamSaw, who said that he loved Lundrick and their Joker attire, I decided to switch it from blue to red. We might see them go blue and green eventually for a pay-per-view, but we'll see. Maurice is still a part of it. Baron Corbin. Samoa Joe. Drew McIntyre. Finn Balor. Muhammad Hassan, Chris Masters, The Miz. Daniel Puder is no longer in the eyes of King Dillan.
About damn time. I'm sick of looking at him.
Kenny Dykstra, Doug and Danny Basham, Dolph Ziggler, Charlie Haas, Bayley, who in winning the women's mid-card title, we decided to give her the signature series based on China, so she's the women's intercontinental champion. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Natalya, Carlito. What does he do, guys? What does Carlito do in the faces of people?
He spits in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
Exactly. We got Sheamus, Mark Henry, Charlotte Flair. Matt Riddle has actually been sent somewhere, so you'll be hearing about that in a little bit. Sonya Deville, Shelton Benjamin, Naomi, Zack Ryder, Chad Gable, Carmella, Sin Cara, and Liv Morgan. That is the future of this season 2 of SmackDown. And yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see that. I'm very, very excited for SmackDown.
Is it going to be the Fist Arena?
Yes, and we're actually going to 2004 pay-per-views, which is Cyber Sunday and all that. So look out for that. At this point, Dillan, if you want to jump on, we're going to be talking about Velocity.
Yes, of course.
Now, this is a small roster because we wanted to start from scratch and not have a lot of things going on, but there will be a lot of build eventually for roster as well. So we're just going to talk about so I'm just going to give you names and you tell me what you think. So, Johnny Gargano.
Oh boy, the heart and soul of NXT has left the black and gold and joined the black and green.
Yes, sir. We have Elias.
Elias is alright, cool.
Matt Riddle has joined the black and green for one reason, and you will find out why a little bit later. But Matt Riddle.
Didn't you say Matt Riddle was on SmackDown?
Yes, but I just said that he got switched over, which you will find out later why.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're finding out why. So Matt Riddle, Ricochet.
My dude Ricochet gonna be flying all over Velocity.
Humberto
Carrillo.
Yep.
That man right there is one of the most underrated wrestlers in today's professional wrestling right now. Underutilized in every sense of the freaking word.
I totally agree, but to be honest,
that's why we bring him in.
His matches with Sheamus on Raw are pretty much the only thing that have been worth watching on Raw the past few weeks.
Basically, and he actually did an amazing job against Andrade. I'm surprised they ended it like they did.
So we'll move on. Keith Lee is next up.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Y'all thought we were just gonna be dealing with high flyers. No. Keith Lee gonna bring some power.
Next up.
That's my one regret. I wanted to use Keith Lee last year, and I never brought him in.
Next up is your top 5 picks are Mark Andrews.
Yes, the psychotic Welshman, Mark Andrews. And if you have not seen this man wrestle, you are in for a treat. Yep. And I beg you, go on YouTube, go on freaking anything that has his videos, watch his matches before and in WWE. Mm-hmm. This man, Welsh wrestlers are fucking psychotic, and I love it. Except for Mason Ryan. He's ass. He's not as a failed WWE experiment, but he's actually doing better now.
Let's move on to Apollo Crews.
Yes, Apollo Crews. He is actually one of the reasons we added him. He has actually impressed me very, very much, especially at WrestleMania when him and Big E were going at it.
And then we got Jinder Mahal and Titus O'Neil as well.
I felt bad for Jinder. WWE wasn't using him at the time. So we threw him a contract, and Titus, I got mad respect for the man on what he does outside of the ring, and I thought our roster could use a locker room leader like that.
And then JTD and Rob Van Dam. I think
RVD, man, I go way back with him.
And then let's
JTG, rest in peace, Shaq Gaspard. I miss Crime Time to pieces, man.
So we're just gonna.
Yeah, but just RVD and Riddle on the same.
Yes, brother.
Yeah, I might have to spend a lot of time backstage so Brock be prepared to take over commentary for me.
So let's bust out 3 right at a time. Mandy Rose, Mandy Rose, LeRae, and Dakota Kai.
Yes, Mandy Rose. I might need a few minutes.
Bianca Belair, Layla, and Xyla Lee, if I got that name correctly.
Xyla Lee.
Yes.
I brought her in because, let's face it, the Chinese wrestling world is not represented very well at all. And
I was surprised. I thought like AEW would. They started to, but then it just never went anywhere.
No, they went and signed all the Japanese talent. The Chinese talent, I'm telling you right now, from the videos I've seen of indie wrestling over there, they have a deep talent pool that nobody is looking into. And it's honestly sad.
Next 3 is Eve Torres, Maria Kanellis, and Tori Wilson.
Maria Kanellis and Tori Wilson, I thought women's division could use a little bit of eye candy. Obviously, we have the amazing wrestlers, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, we got Xia Li, we got all of them.
And then the final.
But we needed a little bit, like, Mandy Rose, Tori Wilson. Think about that tag team. All the men in the arena are gonna go crazy.
And then the final 3, Nikki and Brie Bella with Sasha Banks.
Yes, Nikki and Brie Bella had to bring them out of retirement. They've been begging WWE for it and everything. Yes. And Brie did assure me. Hold on.
Really need to bring Eva Marie back?
Yes, we did.
Eva Marie was actually not that bad. It's just certain bad situations that exploded and made it worse because the internet harshly judges everything you fucking do.
No, man. Eva Marie would have made a good valet.
Oh, absolutely.
She belonged in the ring.
She's actually not that bad. She just needs to work on certain things.
So I think she could improve. I just,
absolutely.
What I
she
thought,
just
she
needs the
didn't
right
care
teacher.
enough to. Yeah.
She could learn from AJ Styles. Just saying. One of the best wrestlers in the world on your roster. Somebody who needs teaching.
I'm surprised he didn't pick anyone like Gargano or Ciampa. Those are two.
We do have Gargano. He was the first one we talked about.
I must have stepped away from my drink.
You're fine.
My drink when you did
but all right, so we're gonna wrap.
He wants to stay in WWE with Timothy Thatcher. What can I say?
I can't disagree that those two. Those two make a good match.
But all right, boys. So we're gonna wrap up Velocity. Dillan, man, I can't wait for what we got planned for it. But
absolutely,
Josh, brother,
I'm like salivating at the match possibilities.
Josh, brother, are you there?
I am.
All right, time.
Like, I fucking fell asleep because you guys just kept talking.
No, he went backstage to go see RVD.
Yes, he did.
That's what it is. All right.
All right, Josh.
I know because I did too.
Last but not least, man, we are going to talk about Pitts Pro Wrestling presents Proving Grounds. And this is more your brainchild than it is mine, because you picked, I believe, 90% of the new people that we decided to bring in. So I can't wait to get your input on our roster. So first up, sir, we have Big E Langston.
Yes, Big E. I love it. The charisma.
Yep.
Big Langston.
Yes.
Gotta love the man who can swing his hips better than most females can.
Xavier You got your bootios.
Xavier Woods and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yes, the best IWGP Intercontinental Champion of all time, Shinsuke Nakamura,
who was unfortunately released from AEW. And we saw him free, so we snatched him up. A lot of our new superstars.
To be honest, man, he lasted one of the longest.
Yes.
Of the OG, anyone that wasn't actually AEW that we hired for WCW, he was one of the last OGs. I think him, AJ Styles, and Asuka.
Yep.
I hope you took advantage and had a Chris Jericho versus Shinsuke match.
Honestly, no, I didn't. I wish I had, man, now that you say it. But who knows? Maybe Shinsuke will be champion by the time we do our quad brand championship match.
And before we...
And I have a couple names I'd love to have Velocity basically be represented as in that match.
But before we continue, if anybody back in the day played Def Jam Fight for New York, Pitts Pro is going to be a streets type of fighting arena. So if you see them look different, then it's because we're trying to do something fun with the roster, and a lot of it was inspired and helped by JamSaw and Josh. So please keep a lookout for that. Our next three is Io Shirai, Aleister Black, and Ember Moon.
Yes. All of them equally are amazing in their own aspects.
Next three.
I am most excited to watch Aleister whoop some serious ass.
Yeah. Next three is Buddy Murphy, R-Truth, and Tony Storm.
Yeah, gotta love Buddy Murphy. Always fun to watch. R-Truth, always funny. There's not a moment that man isn't funny. But Tony...
Yeah, that's a nice outfit for Tony, man.
Yes, sir.
Good choice.
Yes, sir.
I love Tony Storm. I've always enjoyed watching her. All of her matches are always enjoyable.
I'm just saying...
WCW, too. Like, when she was one of my original picks. Her and Rhea had, like, several go-tos, man, that were fantastic.
I'm just saying, if R-Truth ever wants to get confused and walk onto Velocity, he's always welcome.
Where's little Jimmy?
Our next three.
Where's little Jimmy? Where's little Jimmy? As Elias slapping him across the head with a guitar.
Our next three: Billy Kay, Asuka, and Mia Yim.
Ooh.
Yep.
That's
how we. Yep. Ruby Riott. Now this is my next favorite, so I would do him last right out of these three. So Ruby Riott, Tamina, and Sir Lars Sullivan. JamSaw. I love the idea.
Oh, did you go with my
I
idea?
did. Look at the screen, brother.
Yeah.
So Josh, let me ask you real quick. What's your grand goal for Lars Sullivan?
Hopefully it's not porno.
Listen, brother, we got ends meet.
See that again.
We got bills to pay, brother. We just might.
Look, if that happens, I'm walking away from the announce
table.
No.
Honestly, I want as long as we don't have to commentate on the porn. That's fine. Whatever you want to do, as long as I'm not there, is all right.
All right, Josh.
I just want to see him literally just destroy everything.
Yes.
Did I miss Peyton Royce anywhere in that? I mean, you picked up Billy Kay, but you didn't also pick up Peyton?
Let me check real quick. No, I think.
Gonna fix that right now.
Yeah, no, we unfortunately had to let her go in SmackDown. We did.
Jeez.
Yep. Pete Dunne, Big Show, and Scott Steiner, brother. Yep.
We're going old school. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then.
Don't bring back the NWO.
No. No.
Nobody wants to see that train wreck anymore.
Next three, CM Punk, Deuce, and Domino. Now, with Pitts Pro, we are no longer doing a tag division. So the fact that they at the pay-per-view they actually retained against the Street Profits. They actually were able to keep their job, but they're separated within the divisions. So Deuce and Domino
fight each other first show.
Right. But yeah, so CM Punk, Deuce, and Domino are the next three that we have. Yes, sir. And then my personal favorite, Kazarni. I'm gonna have you pronounce.
Fuck off.
I'm gonna have you pronounce this person. I don't want to fuck their name up. I do not want to fuck their name up.
Minoru Suzuki.
Yes, Minoru Suzuki and Bobby Lashley. Yes.
How is that so hard to say?
Listen, brother, I'm not gonna fuck this shit up. I'm not gonna fuck this shit up.
This guy loves Dragon Ball Z, but can't pronounce.
Oh my
Suzuki.
God! Can we listen?
Like that's honestly one of the easiest Japanese names to actually say. Come on now.
Oh my God!
Tanahashi. Come on.
Oh my Lord. Booker T, Lita, and Beth Phoenix are the next three.
Wait, who did you say before Lita? You cut out a little bit.
Booker T, Lita, and Beth Phoenix. Yes, those are the next three. No, Retro. No, Retro's in the chat. Don't look at the chat. Do not look at the chat.
Kazarni is bad. I agree, Retro. I don't know how the fuck Kazarni got into this.
No,
I know exactly how Kazarni got into this.
No, you do not. Shut the fuck up.
Brock was like, number one pick, Kazarni.
Our number one draft pick.
He insisted that he had to be on the show.
I paid him money. I said, listen, sir, how much do I gotta pay you?
CM Punk decimate Kazarni.
Honest, that was one of the picks that I said CM Punk's gonna be the first to fight him. I want to watch him kick ass.
No. I say have Kazarni go on a win streak, and then CM Punk just ruin his life.
Or he just goes on a win streak and runs into Lars Sullivan.
Oh no!
That works too.
Destroyed by the freaking
Amish team. Runs into Lars Sullivan while he's backstage.
Our next three is Heidenreich, Candice, Michelle, and Snitsky.
God damn, man. Like, Heidenreich and Snitsky?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
You know, Heidenreich, Snitsky, and fucking Lars Sullivan should create a state.
No, just Heidenreich and freaking Lars Sullivan. Just don't let Michael Cole anywhere near them. Nobody wants a repeat of that.
Our next three is Kelly, Paige, and Cesaro.
Ooh, I wanted Cesaro on Velocity.
Yep.
He might still get back there. Believe me, if he doesn't perform well on this show,
Cesaro will always have a home on Velocity.
And then our final two, Molly Holly and Sarah Logan.
Oh, Sarah Logan coming back from having a baby. Okay.
Listen, brother. Listen.
Keep that in mind while you run this show.
I will.
Sarah Logan instead of Peyton Royce.
I will.
Well, I mean, let's face it. The Riot Squad is better than them in every way.
I disagree, man. I think the Iconics, like, as much as I hated the Iconics, but as a team, they're perfect fucking heel team. They're the perfect heel team, and even if you don't have a tag team championship, you're going to have tag matches because you're going to want to have some sort of faction-y storyline. Good guys versus bad guys. You need that sauce to keep your show going. And
don't get me wrong. I love Billy Kay. I love oh my God, I just had a brain fart. Peyton Royce. I love them both, but don't put a mic in their hands. I'm sorry. I love them both. They are
brilliant.
They're fantastic wrestlers. They're fantastic wrestlers, but it literally sounded like claws going down a chalkboard.
But that's exactly what they were going for, man. They played that part to a T, and like you mark for that. That was they came out with that same bullshit all the time, and you hate it. That is the sign of a good fucking persona. Is you legit hate that person. I love to hate.
I don't hate them. I just hate their voice. That's the difference. I hate their voice.
The things they're saying and how they're saying it. It's all show, and they are consummate professionals. And being that kind of heel team that can affect you that way and make you be like, fuck you guys, I want you to lose. And then when they win, you're like, oh, I fucking hate you. I need a good team to come and take you out.
Oh, trust me, I know what you mean. I know what you mean on that. I've been heel before. I know that role better than any role, honestly.
But all right, guys.
Our first couple episodes of Velocity, a couple fans tried to freaking throw food at me just because I ended their favorite wrestler's career.
But all right, guys. Before we get too far into this, we're already a little right over an hour, so we will end it here. Boys, we're halfway through our month off. I'm excited for our plans we got going on, and the three of you together is going to make for a very interesting Season 2, and I can't wait for the quadfecta that is going to be held to get mine and Josh's belt back for Pitts Pro. But also, me and Dillan need to win it to have it in Velocity, but then I need to win it for Smackdown. So the three of us need to band together and stop JamSaw and dethrone him.
Fuck off.
So because if you don't know,
you just admit that I'm smarter than y'all, and you just need to gang up on me to make sure that I don't.
So for the people that don't know,
I don't need to team up on you to kick your ass.
So
I'm not saying that you couldn't kick my ass, but
I'll just power drive you right through the table on fire.
So.
Condone these actions, and also I love AEW, so.
Oh, touche.
There you go. Okay, now it's more fair, half and half. So yeah, let's see Josh and JamSaw versus you guys.
Oh.
Maybe we'll be doing some sort of inter-brand warfare stuff where Josh and I will team up against a couple of your guys' teams. See how that goes.
Well, I got a couple surprises this season, so keep your eyes on Velocity, because
dude, if you
the names
last season,
hold on,
AEW is a surprise.
Hold on, the names you heard on Velocity, I'm gonna just say it now. It's not the only names you're gonna see.
Yeah, we have big plans.
I got a couple other surprises in store.
Yep.
Let's just say there's gonna be a lot of pain going around.
But all right, guys. So with that in mind, keep in touch. We will be back eventually. Josh, I knew you were about to talk, so I will let you end it, sir. What are your final words? What do you got going on?
Well, I must say that I'm quite excited to see where this is going to take off, because put a lot of thought into it and a whole lot of ideas.
Yep.
But I'm not done. So.
But
there will be many surprises, many interesting things that are going to appear.
Yep.
And some of them may be evil. That's all I'm going to say.
But all right, guys. So with that being said, JamSaw, Josh, me, and Dillan will see you guys in a couple weeks. We will talk to you later, and that is it.
The king is gone.